2596, and today is the remake of the video of the Morrow High School story 2011-2012 school year. And pretty much we're just gonna start off. This all happened when I was a freshman at Morrow High School, just getting to know what high school is all about. So then there was this one day where the school was on lockdown and whatnot, and pretty much I wanted to figure what the heck was going on, you know. Then I go home. One of my neighbors that came over just said how Morrow High School was on the news, so I went to live with my other apartment and just watched Morrow High School on the news. Said the school was on the news for how gang members try to rape a white girl. I don't know the girl's name, no, I'll tell her name, but pretty much that happened. And I'm not sure if other cops or news stations do this, but they actually revealed the whole history of the Bloods, like the gang, after the news showing what these guys actually do. And the next day, you know, just before I was about to go to school, whatever, the school was in the news, and it's other schools, but the school was known for having, like, you know, school gangs, whatnot, which, you know, the whole school gang stuff doesn't really happen in high school like that, because, and this is when I was in middle school, which was I was at Morrow Middle, that how, you know, they actually showed us how school gangs got, how they had school gangs and stuff like that, how, you know, the gang recruitment stuff actually happens in middle school first before, you know, high school. So for most people, you know, probably know about this right about now because they've already been told this, but this is something that's actually been going on. So most people who know, who've heard about this, you know, y'all know that the school gang stuff actually happens in middle school before, you know, they do it in high school. Don't ask how the gangs even get to middle school to begin with, because that question I did not want to know. And then this second one. Now, this one actually didn't get on the news, but people said it was more likely to get on the news. But basically, it was just a basketball game between Morrow High School and Mount Sinai High School. And then at some point, a fight breaks out, and I'm on Facebook hearing about it. And they said how one of the new kids I met in the school got tased. And it's so weird because this was actually being talked about on Facebook. I had to talk to several different people about this crap. I'm like, what the hell? There was this girl, and we're just gonna give her a name, JoJo, doing how it was more likely that Morrow High School would be on the news. So then I was like, man, it's just horrible. The girl comes back and tells me to just shut the fuck up, didn't know what's going on. Then I responded with how I actually knew what was going on and whatnot. So then comments kept rolling in about the whole situation and whatnot. Then I read this one status up there where this guy was like, how this one girl just kept saying how the whole thing was just how they clearly said how she had said some stuff, but then one guy was like she wasn't even there, so she needed to go to sleep and try again tomorrow. So I'm sitting there making a comment trying to figure out who, you know, this girl was. All I get is a freaking response saying you need to go join. I'm like trying to fucking figure out a girl's name, and this is the only fucking comment I get. I'm like, wow. Just that I would show a fucking question mark because they didn't want to go through them shit on Facebook, so just had to end it there, you know. And then the third one. Now, I actually gonna say this was very sad about how this one even happened, but basically went to Morrow High School. I seen people crying, and I kept hearing about this guy Mario Laurent because that's the guy who died. So I just went inside and tried to figure out, oh, what happened to this guy? They said the guy actually got killed in a shootout because I don't know, they were trying to target some people, but then they ended up shooting the wrong guy. You know, later come to find out that the whole thing that, you know, it was one person playing with a gun, and he actually got shot, and then he later caught the guy who actually killed him, and that was actually messed up. And the weekend after that happened, you know, they actually did donations after this stuff. I'm like, wow, that is sad. That is really sad. And the fourth one. Now, this is one of the worst things that can actually happen in school in general, and not just in high school, but a bomb threat. Now, I'm not sure which one could even be worse. Having a bomb threat that lasts 2 days, or bomb threats just throughout the whole school year. But bomb threats throughout the school year is a whole lot worse than 2 days. But I'm going to tell you about this one in particular. That was very misunderstanding. But pretty much here, you know, it was just a normal day and the school goes on lockdown. Now, from what I've heard from the kids, and this is what I literally heard, thought there's some sort of illegal candy or some crap. Like, how can they sell illegal candy? I'm like, I don't know, man. Something I heard. Kids say crazy stuff. So I thought it was that. School goes off lockdown. Then we went to our last class of the day, we actually got a letter from the, principal that we had to give to our parents, inform them that there was a bomb threat. And man, I was just fucking shocked. But the second day just had to make things worse. Because clearly, it was just a normal day. Until the whole school had to stay inside because they assumed that if you were someone that stepped out of the classroom, the hallways, then they'd freaking lock you up. Let's just say they had canines roaming around the school trying to search for the bomb. And what's really funny about this one was that some of the people, which they didn't even reveal the guy's name, who actually did the bomb threat, actually had class with the guy. And I'm going to tell you a little mid-story in between. There's this one guy that I knew who was actually about to get ready to get out of class, because he thought it was time for everybody to go. And then he meets this one cop, he didn't even know it was a cop at first. And then the undercover cop told him to go back in the classroom. And then the guy was like, man, you can't tell me to go back to the classroom. Then as soon as he seen the badge, he just immediately went back to class. But we tried to go back to class at one point, and this is before all this happened. He got kicked out of one of his teacher's class because the teacher was being a complete butt. Don't know as to why. So we had to sit in the library for the whole time when that happened. And it's really messed up because the guy who did it really wanted to kill the principal, the assistant principal, the janitors, and every kid inside the school just for $2 million. I'm like, are you serious? Like, that's a stupid move right there. Like, doing a bomb threat for $2 million. Like, why? Like, why would you kill innocent people for $2 million? Like, that's the stupidest thing that happened. Heck, I kept crying about this all over Facebook. That's how crazy this story was. And then the last one, and this one was very unexpected to happen. It was on EOCT testing day, which they had it there before, but then again they took it out. And I've heard about this happen the next day after one EOCT testing day was over. And they say the school got news because some kids stole some iPods and computers, which is most messed up because everyone's questioning, how did they get into school? How? Like, I don't know. Anybody who knows about the cafeteria, which is immediately right, the bathrooms, right, which is right next to the cafeteria, they don't have doors, so they probably might just went in there, and it was either that or I just don't know. Nobody ever knew what the heck happened. And it was just so messed up. And the most weirdest part is that this one actually happened on my birthday. One of the days I had to take the biology EOCT. So I'm like, yo, Morrow High just got a news on my own birthday. Like, that's just insane. And the biggest rumor about that year was that they said that how Morrow High School was going to get shut down. But I'm guessing people nowadays don't have to worry about that. So because, well, they didn't have any plans to shut down a whole school since they were actually going to remake it, which that's what they actually did, by the way, for when I was in their sophomore year. So, heck, and there are a few things that they put in there, like the first slideshow where I said that how, if you're high school or if you're continuing high school, you should stay away from there. But I can't make people do that because they're still going to keep going there. But, there was two other things I had in there. Is that Morrow High School used to be so great back in 1991 and 1992. People want to go in there, they heard so much great stuff about it, but nowadays you gotta hear stuff like Morrow High School with gang members, innocent kids getting killed, bomb threats and all that stuff. You have to hear about that stuff now, and it's just ridiculous. Because everybody's saying how, shit, Morrow High School's a bad school altogether. Which it's ultimately not, it's just the bad kids that do a bunch of dumb shit. That's about it. And then, for the AYP, for the school year 2008-2009, Morrow High School is the only school to have it. I mean, they had AYP, but due to all the kids doing bad shit, they had to take it down. So, heck, that's just how it is. That concludes the Redux. 2596, logging off.